Action. Thank you very much. Katie, absolute pleasure to be here to speak with you and kind of outline some of our initial ideas regarding your exit from ParkTech Engineering. We just want to jump into it very quickly. Our initial recommendation is that we find a new CEO. This could be a current or former employee or a net new employee to the company to basically purchase your shares through a vendor take-back like arrangement. And we're going to kind of outline exactly why we thought this was the best idea for you. Based on our understanding through my initial calls with you is, people are number one for you. You have a lot of love for your staff, and you want to make sure that they're well taken care of going forward. Additionally, you also want to make sure that your daughter and your family are also well taken care of going forward. So what we had to do is balance those two needs. The need for family, which is to get the maximum value for your company, but also the need for your employees to ensure that they are well taken care of going forward. Our main exit strategy is, as I said, kind of a vendor take back. What happens is the new CEO or your daughter, whoever it is, purchases initial block on year one, and then using their own cash, they purchase 10% year over year for next 4 years into year 5. And then any additional cash flow that they earn over X amount is then used to purchase additional blocks of shares. This one gets a little more complex because you're actually revaluing the business every single year in order to take advantage of the fluctuations and the growth that you're having that my colleagues will discuss later on. So this is what we think is the best idea for right now for you. We think that it provides maximum flexibility and in turn provides maximum value for you. And it accomplishes both of your objectives. Our second option that we reviewed at marginal detail was the public share, so IPO or reverse takeover. It didn't really sit well with us. Biggest thing that we found was it costs about $1 million. Takes a few years. You're bound to lose about 4 to 7% on the gross proceeds just due to fees on the advisory side. So it didn't exactly hit all the buttons we were looking for. And then the third idea is a leverage buyout by either existing shareholders or in our private equity firm. Again, didn't necessarily sit well with us, given that there already is a private equity firm involved. We didn't think that they would like the additional competition, additional complexity of having two private equity firms in there. Now I'm going to hand this over to my colleague FaZe, who's going to walk us through some of the major trends and some ideas on how we can increase the value going forward.
Thank you, Eric. Yes. So we took a close look at the E&C engineering and consulting industry within the energy space, and we see that there are three major industry challenges facing incumbents right now. Obviously, everybody talks about the trade war and how it's changing the prices of commodities, inputs, and also uncertainty. As well, there's an increasing complexity in projects we're seeing just because of government regulations, ESG requirements, et cetera, et cetera. And the third main area we're seeing is a talent shortage, acute talent shortage. And based on these three industry challenges, we've actually identified three drivers for M&A activity in the sector. So demographic changes. We're seeing a lot of people nearing retirement age, millennials coming into the workforce, and so succession planning becomes an issue. That's one of the drivers. There's a lot of buyer interest. As economies of scale are achieved, companies are consolidating, buyers interested. As well, we're seeing acqui-hire, which is basically acquiring companies to acquire their talent. And based on these three M&A drivers, we've outlined three major directions or three trends we suggest that ParkTech capture in order to maximize value prior to an exit. Number one, we should look at incorporating modularization and prefabrication. These are one of the major trends in the industry, which I believe ParkTech has not yet captured. They have the potential of completing jobs 20 to 50% faster and reducing costs by another 20%. We also believe that ParkTech has an opportunity to ride the trend on renewables, which ParkTech is not doing right now based on our analysis. There's tremendous growth in US, in Canada, Australia, which are the primary markets that ParkTech operates in. And then finally, we believe that by incorporating new and leading edge technology, ParkTech can also put itself in a leadership position to increase its value. And that's by incorporating business information modeling specifically, as well as cloud technology. So based on these three ideas, we have done a thorough analysis on valuation, which my colleague Ola will walk you through.
Thank you, Faith. So KD, we've decided to do valuation into the consulting industry and just give you an idea of where ParkTech currently is in comparison to its public peers. So these are the inputs that went into the creation of our discounted cash flows. So this is the weighted average cost of capital, which is 7.26%, cost of debt 3.05%. And we also used a liquidity discount of 20%. The reason why we did this was to take into consideration the fact that the shares are not trading on the stock exchange. So it's going to make transfer of shares between different individuals investing in the firm difficult. So after taking in all the inputs that went into the creation of our discounted cash flows, this is what we were able to come up with. This is our enterprise value graph, and it shows two different information. The first is the value of the firm taken currently as it is, and from the little information we could get from the financial statements, we discovered that the enterprise value currently would be at $46 million. But if you take into consideration, we also factored in the fact that ParkTech takes into consideration our three trend growths and three major advice we gave in terms of increasing the value of the firm. And we believe that the firm can jump up to $60 million after taking into consideration the change in strategy. Secondly, we also did an analysis on the revenue growth of the firm, and we believe that if ParkTech takes into consideration our three major growth drivers, revenues would increase to 12%. Lastly, we did a pair comparable comparison with potential competitors in the consulting industry, and we found that the average EBITDA multiple is 10.9 times EBITDA, and ParkTech is currently at 8.36. We feel this is a very good position for the firm as it creates an attractive value for buyers, and we also want to attract the best and quality best buyers coming to be involved or trying to acquire shares in the firm. And we believe at an EBITDA margin of 8.3%, it represents a very good value for ParkTech and also represents potential future growth for the firm. Thank you, Katie. I now open the floor up for whatever questions you would have.